Hey Coach, so happy you found us on YouTube. I'm in my happy place here in my gym. A couple things. First of all, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a 5-star review. Make sure you leave a thumbs up. That little bell up above will give you notifications because we put something up every day on YouTube. If you're looking to take your coaching to the next level, let us help you out. Let me help you put some pictures on the wall. Fill the banner up like we have at teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. 14-day free trial while it lasts. You will not be disappointed.
So then you're just going to go to slideshow or whatever.
Yeah, present. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
You're good. Perfect.
All right. And I'm just going to go through this, and then I think what I'm going to do is, and you can ask any questions, and we don't have to read every slide.
No, but I'll jump in because I've done this with other coaches. It's great.
Okay.
So I'll just jump in.
All right. You know what you're doing more than I do. Okay. So, and there's
the people that are listening, the last slide just said coach is old. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and we'll put that in the show notes.
Okay. Yeah.
I think there's what I think the reasons for pressing are. If you never ever, even if you don't want to be a pressing team, if you can't break a press, you can't play basketball.
No, I agree.
So I think you have to have, I think you have to have one in, and I think anytime you understand how a press defense works, it helps your press offense.
It does. It helps you break. From the teams that when we were a good pressing team, no one could press us. Because we spent 20 minutes or 30 minutes of practice every day working on our press, and then you're gonna press us? What are you talking about?
And if you saw on our on that first slide, we've had 94-32 either on our practice jerseys or our shirts for probably the last 15, 20 years since I've coached, and that's why we do it. Obviously,
so explain to the listeners what that means. I know what it means, but
94 feet for 32 minutes.
Okay. If
you play without a shot clock, you have to be able to press in the fourth quarter unless you're going to be ahead all the time.
So a high school court's only 84 feet.
Well, a regulation, but everybody builds them 94 now.
Yeah.
So you're correct.
Yeah. Okay.
We always believe that you should never give an opponent a free trip. The court's 94 feet long, so we're going to press after either off a dead or off a made free throw for sure. Not always off a live ball.
I always say, go back to that screen. I always say on pressing, we're going to press you when you get off the bus.
Yes, exactly.
We're literally going to, it's all the whole Hoosier thing. It's I don't care. As soon as the jump, we're coming at you. Are you going to talk about pressing on misses?
Yeah, we're going to, yes. Okay. As a matter of fact, I have a clip where we did. We don't generally do that. And I think if there's not a shot clock in your state, you have to press. But I think more importantly, if there is a shot clock in your state, I would press just to be a pain and knock 8 to 10 off and make them get out of their rhythm, especially if it's a 30-second
right.
shot.
And that's one of the reasons I think the shot clock is a mistake, in the sense that the teams I think it's gonna make the haves and have-nots even bigger, in the sense that if you're gonna press, you're gonna if you can't handle the weaker team's gonna have problems with pressure, even soft pressure, which means that I think the separation is gonna get bigger.
My only argument that I have for a shot clock is, and I've put this out many, many times, and it's really the only argument I have, is the fact that we have, if you are playing a team that's maybe 10% better than you, and they get ahead of you, or they get on a run, you can go zone to change the tempo a little bit.
Right.
Because there's some teams you can't stay in front of. That's my only argument for it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know that we need it in high school.
I don't know. I still haven't heard the I haven't heard the reason that's like, and I'm not like, half the time I just tweet about it to get people all riled up because
Oh,
I think
sure,
it's funny.
sure.
I don't really care because I'll adjust. I'm just not sure with the shot clock why, what makes it better. Like the 3-point line did something to the game. Like it spread the court out. I'm just not sure what people. I'm a stats teacher. People use observational studies. They see the 2 games that are 8-6. They don't see the 99.7% of the games that aren't 9-6.
Right. Right.
And that's what sticks with them. It's the 1 or 2 things that stick with them. So it's the stats.
I totally agree. And they see those people holding the ball out there on Twitter, and then they think that happens in every game. And
how many games I've seen at the high school level that's happened? I've seen like 2 in my 30 years of teaching or coaching.
Well, and the ones I've seen where we were at 5A state tournament probably 20 years ago in the boys, and one team didn't want to face the 1-3-1, and they held the ball with the ball on hip to half court. The other team switched man, and they started playing.
Right. Yeah. If you stay in the 1-3-1, then that's your fault.
Yeah. Come out and guard. Come out and guard.
Come and play me.
I also think you can play more players.
You definitely have to.
And matter of fact, the year we got second in state, we had the grandma unit. That's what all our fans called them. Our 5 seniors that were really slow but knew how to play, and they played a 2-2-1 back to our sometimes back to our zone, sometimes back to our man. And then when the second unit would come in, they were just all out. And I remember one time, I think they came in, it was 2-0, and they came in for 2.5 minutes, and it was 12-2. And then the other group came back in and scored like 10 in a row, being pretty methodical.
See, here's my theory with this. Yes, you have. There's 2 reasons. Like one of the reasons I stopped pressing as much is because now we play halves. Right. And we have 4 extra minutes. So that forced me to play more kids. Like I can't play that. You can't play, 36 minutes and not get a rest. It's virtually impossible. But I love that. It's true. If you're going to be a pressing team, you have to be able to.
And we had a speaker on the other night at my clinic, Lane Lord from down at the tip of Texas. He's women's coach, was at Pittsburgh State.
Okay.
And he told us something that I've done. Now, I don't play this many kids, but he said we play 12 kids in the first half, regardless. He said, I did that in high school. And the reason he does it, and I believe this too, there's nothing worse than you don't play a kid all game and then you have to put him in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you want to see them for early. That my bench definitely shortens the second half more than
but I try to, and we do, there's different things, but we like and then I think the other good reasons for pressing is you need to create scoring opportunities with your defense. If you can't do anything, you got to create scoring opportunities. And then I truly believe you can bring energy to your gym. And I'll be honest with you, in girls basketball, you have to do something to get people to come watch the games.
Right.
You better be really, really efficient and good on offense, which we move the ball pretty well, but that energy in the fourth quarter, you got the boys crowd coming in to watch, and then they're going, holy moly, this is fun. So
right. Yeah. I call them easy buckets. Like you talked about scoring opportunities. You have to find ways to get easy buckets. Like
you got to steal them.
You got to steal them. Some people steal them on out of bounds plays. Some people steal them on side out of bounds plays. Some people steal them on pressing. But you got to get a way that I say it's where are you getting those 8 to 10 points? They're just gimmies. Like maybe you have a big man that can automatically get you a couple close to the basket. Something you got to steal those. I agree.
Yeah. Well, because no one wants to face a set defense all game and just dribble it up.
No.
That's hard basketball.
It is hard.
So, and then. Coach, I went ahead and I've got some drills on here. There's only 2 that I didn't draw up, but we always, in all of our teaching, we're going to use a whole method. we like to start with the hole and then go back so the kids can see what it is they're doing in the drills.
Yep.
So they can see the big picture.
So sometimes my hole is just showing them tape too. So
well, and that can be as well.
Yeah, it depends on the type of year for me. So some years I got to do it on the court. Some years I can do the whole, just saying, hey, let's go watch Virginia run there, whatever. It's like, yeah, I agree. I love that. I don't do part, whole, part. I do whole, part, whole. I agree.
Yeah, and that's same here.
Yeah.
But, I haven't necessarily, I don't want to shout out about this pandemic, but you can't believe all the cut-ups that I have. I'm doing an out-of-bounds clinic in 2 weeks, and I've got I went back and cut up all my out-of-bounds plays.
I'd love to see it. Okay, we're gonna have you back on. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's
so we'll take a side thing. What I'd love to do too is, people always ask about zone offense. Do you see a lot of zone? Do you see a lot of zone, or do you zone people?
We don't zone very much. Now, we did my first 2 years because I had two big slow bigs.
Right.
But
okay.
To answer your question, we're running Underwood spread now.
Okay.
And I saw more zone this year than I've ever seen. We went all of February, except for when the other teams got behind at the end. Except for one game, we saw all zone, and then we saw man in the sub-state finals.
Okay.
We saw 1-2-2 zone. We saw 1-2-2 zone, I think, and then one guy changes his stuff up all the time but never plays man. So, and we've kind of developed some zone offense things, but we've kind of gone back to just playing our motion.
That's what we do. That's what we do too. That's kind of when coaches ask me around the country, I go, I just run my man offense most of the time, and then I teach them principles about, like, if you find space, stop. If you blah blah blah, and,
right?
It's like, because zones don't like movement, and your man offense, my guess, gives you the best movement.
I would love to talk zone offense sometime. We change it up all the time, but we have a basic philosophy. But anyway,
okay, go ahead.
The one thing I would say about pressing is that one of the biggest mistakes I ever made was we started work. I had a really, really young team, and Jim Larinaga's scramble was the big thing in the 90s and 2000s. And that's how we developed a lot of our stuff.
Right.
But we started out pressing instead of building our man-to-man foundation first. And so we always, the first week and a half, we put our man-to-man in, and we'll run two of our drills that you can run for man-to-man or press. There's years where we don't press at the beginning of the year because we may have a certain team, but we do run our UCLA drill, which is the John Wooden drill, 3-on-2 with a trailer. And after the first 2 days, we allow pressing. To half court, and we talked about playing in a frenzy. Matter of fact, one year we had a team that we were putting new offense in or something. So we ran UCLA drill every year. And the first game of the season, we were behind with 5 minutes to go, and I said, "All right, we're running UCLA drill defensively." I said, "Match up. If you can trap, and let's pray to God we can." We didn't come back and win, but it gave us a hell of a shot.
Coaches do a lot of praying. Go ahead. Yes.
Oh yeah, we run, and I've always said, if there's a lot of schools that they have a 40-minute basketball class and that's it. They don't, and then they go home, they don't get to practice. If I had 3 drills that I could run, if I had 40-minute practice, I would run that drill every day because that's an all-encompassing drill, and I think that's how you'd have to play.
Yeah, but I think so too.
Anyway, we've run full court man with stunts. We vary up our 2-2-1, and I'll show you that video wise.
Okay.
We'll do all sorts of different things depending, and then we do a 1-2-1-1 on or off ball.
Okay, so hold on. So for both people watching and listening. So let's go through those three and go about strengths and weaknesses on each one. Man, 2-2-1, 1-2-1-1. What is the strength? What's the weakness of each of those?
Okay, the full court man strength is if you decide not to trap, you've got everybody matched up, and you've got the basket protected. That has to do with a lot of it.
Yeah.
We'll run what Larinaga would call a twist or a double out, where we front and behind the point guard and make someone else bring it up.
Okay.
Just to jack with them.
Yep.
Now, the thing is, there are multiple ways to trap out of it, but the problem is when you're trapping out of man-to-man, that means all 5 people are responsible for the basket at some point when you're running full scramble, which is the best way to run, but you better have some great communication. We don't scramble as much anymore, and I'll talk about that in the two.
Okay.
We scramble, but probably more out of the 2-2-1 and the 1-2-1-1. And we make sure the basket's protected a little bit more. And I've got a pretty good athlete back there.
Yep.
The 2-2-1.
What's the weakness of the man-to-man?
Oh,
I think it's the hardest of the 3 to teach.
Well, I think it is too. Well, I think the weakness of the man-to-man is first of all, you've got to get matched up. Number 2,
on a miss, it's hard too in some respects.
Oh yeah, and we don't trap. We really don't trap misses unless it's the last minute we have to get the ball. And I've got one where our kid did it in a game, and I'll talk a little bit. I've got I think I got 14 clips or 8 clips or something. But I think the other weakness is the number one weakness is if you're going to trap out of it, you have to work very hard on your rotation.
Yeah.
And then once you rotate, it's the rebounding can be a strength in the man-to-man, but it can also be a weakness. If you're a really, really small team, sometimes you want those bad shots taken because the other team's a better rebounding team than you are.
Yeah. There's more. I don't know how to state it, but there's more. And some of the boys are really good. Some of the boys teams I had have been really good. There's more improv. There's more. I can't say do this at this spot because this will only happen once all season. There's more of that reads, like playing the secondary in football.
Exactly.
And man.
And so, I've got about 6 examples of those in my clips where you could say, hey, pretend like we're in our full court man press. Here's what we're doing wrong.
Right.
And it's
it is. And 30 years ago, I would have said, if you were a girls coach, don't do this because they weren't playing enough basketball and the instinct wasn't there.
Right.
Our girls team was better than us at it this year because their girls were we had legit D1 players. They were better at it because their reads were better than ours because they've played as much as my guys have. So I think that's changed in the girls and guys game, that the girls are playing as much as the guys now than they weren't maybe 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's about, and the reason they can do it is those reads. It's those, I don't know how to describe it.
We talk, and I will tell you one rule, and I didn't put on the PowerPoint. One rule we had in our man-to-man when we were going to trap is we had what was called the Mary rule. Is once you make that decision, you're married to that trap. Or we always talked about.
I love that. State of that. The married, getting.
Yeah, it's a marriage rule. So if we were running our half court scramble and we were going to jump them at half court, once you went and they reverse dribbled back, you kept chasing them. You kept chasing them. You're married to that until the ball comes out. And then the other thing that we would do.
I love that.
The other thing that we would do is the problem we had was, I always talk about it. I can't say the nationality that you used to say, but you've always heard the joke, the idiot at the flashing red light that's going.
Yep.
You got to make, if you decide to go trap, even if you're wrong, because we try not to face trap anybody.
Right.
But if you decide to go jump them, then you go.
You got
don't
to
go halfway
go
and just let the ball throw over. So,
I agree.
And I would say the other strength of the man-to-man press is a lot of times, and let me tell you why I wanted to press. Sub-state finals my senior year. We're playing Topeka Hayden High School, who goes on to win. We lose 42-35.
Ooh,
And we had scouted them, and I ran a lot of I was the point guard, and I'd get the ball in, and I couldn't tell if they were full court man, if it was zone and they were going to jump, or if it was a 1-2-1-1. So, and they had a towel system. I think they had a red, white, and a blue towel that the coach would put over his deal. And so I was real tentative at attacking that press because I never knew what was coming. So we kind of try to do that out of our zone presses. Sometimes we'll say, okay, we're matched up, but we're not going to, we're going to be on the ball, and we're not going to go trap the first pass this time. We're going to wait and then see what they do to try to mess them up. So I think the best press is full court man to man and be adjustable. But I don't have the energy now to be in a stance all game.
Yeah. And it's the hardest to teach. It is.
I sit, so anyway, now our 2-2-1, I think everybody should put in. I think you have to work against full court man deny just to get the ball in.
Right.
I'm talking from an offensive standpoint. Teams are going to deny you got to get the ball in.
Right.
And then work against it. The 2-2-1 in girls basketball, you could not just say, hey, getting a 2-2-1 press, JV getting a 2-2-1 press, trap at half court, we're going to run our press offense. It's just, it's a mess. So we teach the 2-2-1 even if we're not going to run.
Right.
And we've run it quite a bit. We'll run it with our guards up and just float back to a 2-3 zone. We'll do it with our forwards up. We have trapping areas.
Do you do either one of the zones into man?
Both of them. We always go back man unless we say, and we always go back man.
Okay.
Now our 2-2-1 though, we will go back into our amoeba or our 2-3 just to be in that configuration if we're going to play zone. Okay. And then we do keep the 5-man back. I would say the strength of the 2-2-1 is we'll put our 5-man at the top of the key. She's our best athlete now. And we tell her, you keep your foot inside the top of the key. If you leave to go steal, you can, if you miss it once, that's fine. If you miss it twice in a row, you're coming out.
Okay.
And then we keep our 5-man back, so our half court people have to run all the way over to the sideline.
Okay.
But to me, if you let your 5-man get in the rotation, either in the 1-2-1-1 or the 2-2-1, then you're teaching 3 to 4 people to have to rotate back and take the basket, which I think is a weakness. So, but you also aren't going to get as many steals.
You're not. It's the more passive. Yeah, and I think a 2-2-1 is more passive than a 1-2-1-1.
Well, we have changed it. I used to play only trapping at what we call purgatory, which is right this side of half court.
Yep.
And hell, which is the other side of half court.
Yep.
What we do is we try to turn it into a run and jump and turn the dribbler back to the other guard and then jump switch.
Okay.
So a lot of times we'll leave our half court people at half, and we'll tell them you cannot come up from half court unless it's for a steal on a pass out of the trap for the guards. We tell them you keep your feet on the half court line, and the guards are just gonna jack with them up there. So okay. We'll do different things. So, and then to me the best way to work on presses is we do the UCLA drill. And we tell our kids to play in a frenzy, and it's what I call a blood drill. And I don't know if I've talked to you about this before, but like our UCLA drill, we'll play it for 6 minutes, and I'll make it, but I make it a 10-minute period because the black team's going to go down and every one of them are going to shoot a 1-on-1.
Right.
White team's going to shoot a 1-on-1, and that's the score that they start with. And then we're going to do maybe 2 shot fouls at the end instead of that. You know how a lot of people validate?
Right.
Well, I've always said, well, what the hell happens if you can never validate? Are you going to go for 20 extra minutes?
Right.
So anyway, and then, of course, the ways that you can press 5-on-5 or dead ball, which is the easiest way to teach it. Now we'll do what we call circle, where both teams have to run around in a circle, and I shoot and I make it, and the offense has to take it out.
I do tapping off the board sometimes too, where I put them in
All
a
right.
line, and then all of a sudden I'll just say go. That way someone's different in the front of the line.
Okay, I like that.
You know what I mean? So because they cheat on the circle thing because they slow down.
Yeah. Okay, I like that.
And no one taps off the board. I mean, it's a stupid thing, but whatever. But it makes them get, and I alternate colors, like it'd be green, white, green, white.
Oh,
and then all of a sudden I'll just say go, and then whoever gets the ball, because they're all tapping it off the board, it makes it as random as I can.
Right.
If anybody else has a better way than circle or that, let me know, because I've been looking,
And then we do free throw, and our rule on free throws, the one thing that I think is important, and you have to, because our game plan generally is we're gonna press on dead balls and free throws.
Okay.
So our rule is this: let's say we pressed off a dead ball, we stole it and laid it in, we're getting right back in the press. If we miss a free throw, if we miss the free throw, get the offensive rebound and put it in, that still counts as a made free throw, and we're in the press.
Right.
We'll play until a miss.
There's no, everything's a miss in our, when we do that too. Even if you make it, it's a miss. We just got to go,
Okay.
I love that. Yeah.
And then obviously we'll game plan, and then we always switch defenses after a timeout, or sometimes we'll switch our press up on a free throw for one possession. Now, the one thing that I will say about somebody asked, there was somebody on Twitter the other day that said, do you switch after timeout? And we'll switch even in our half court defense. We've been playing man, we'll switch to amoeba.
Right.
The problem with that is there's a special combination defense that you end up running the very next possession. Right. I call it the two people playing amoeba, two people play man, and one person runs around not knowing what the hell they're doing.
I know. So the one possession thing, I'll even do that after a timeout. Like we'll be in zone. I'll say, okay, hey, listen, guys, we're gonna do one trip a man.
Right.
That's it. And then we're back. And then we're back to the zone just to change them up.
Yeah.
And I say it at the beginning of the timeout. I'll say it at the end. Hey, remember, we're doing one trip. So we'll practice one trips during practice. But we call them one trips. Like, we're just going to come down and for one trip. And there'll be times in a game where that one trip looks so good that I'll figure a way to get to my point guard and say, we're staying in it. Especially if it's a quiet gym and they can hear me.
Right.
We're staying in it, like a 1-3-1. It worked. We turned them over because it's working. But most of the time, that one trip, and I love that. I've been doing that my entire career, one trips. That's a golden nugget for young coaches, because what it does is it just messes up their rhythm a little bit. It's a rhythm thing. I don't know how to describe it, but
there's a really good team in our area that will do that. And they used to get me every time coming out of timeout, because we like to, on offense, we'll call set play. Right. Well, this guy knew what my set play was going to be. Well, we had an automatic call that we called green.
Right.
Because anytime you got trapped first pass on the wing, you need somebody to your right, somebody in the heart, somebody behind. Well, hell, we said, hey, after every timeout, if we call timeout or something, we're going to call green. Well, we got layups on them. Right. So I think you have to practice. I think you have to have a set play coming out of a timeout, but I also think you have to tell them, because there's another team that they go 1-3-1 trap after every timeout. And that hurt us early when I was with the boys. And I'd even tell coach, hey, Texas is coming, and we tell the kids, and it kept us from getting.
The problem is here, and this is what I'll tell young coaches too, just because you know it doesn't mean your guys know it.
Oh, no doubt.
Like, it's coming, but they'll literally forget what you said as they walk out, and they'll look at you like, what, they're running 1-3-1? I go, I just talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I joke a little bit about the double combination defense, where you got, 5 people playing 3 different defenses. I've had that person though steal the ball before.
No, I mean, I've had, okay, I won't name names now, but I've had guys that have been some of the top players in the state of Wisconsin, no lie, like 10 years, that we would have 4 guys in a zone and he would be running man, or it would be the vice versa. And people are going, what are they in? And it's like, he still to this day probably doesn't know he was doing it wrong, but it doesn't matter because he was so athletic and he could get away with it that it just threw teams. And it's like, I just let it go.
Yeah. And sometimes he ends up running through the passing lane and you get a score out of it.
Right.
And maybe they end up working against that defense on the scout the next time.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. I know. It's like, well, we were running man and zone in that play, but good luck. Yes.
Well, Coach, here's I went ahead. I learned how to do links here.
Okay.
And let me, I'm going to loop this clip. Here we are off a free throw, and this is what we call our 40 with our 4-man on the ball.
And that's your 1-2. That's your 1-2.
Yeah. Now, when we put this in, have you ever studied Don Showalter's press at all?
Yes. And
we tried doing this and we threw it out. All right, if the ball came in on the short side, it's supposed to be hard trap. Okay. That's why this looks like a screwed up press. Plus, I didn't do a very good job coaching.
Yep.
Okay, so if it comes in on the left, we want a hard trap. If it comes in on the right, it's supposed to be a 2-2-1.
That's supposed to be okay, so the people listening, what he's saying, short side is the side of the court that you get the ball on.
Exactly. And we're going to trap it right there. If it goes to the long side, then that person's got to come force it up the sideline. The front player of the press becomes the left side of the 2-2-1. We quit doing it. We didn't work on it enough. But as you can see right here, it looks like we're not really wanting to trap. See, this girl should have been right here.
So you're in you're in a 2-2-1 at this point then.
Yeah. We're kind of in a not sure what this girl, right? These 2 are seniors. This girl is a freshman. And you'll watch, she plays with her arms down all the time, and she's a volleyball player. We're going to get that changed because she might be one of the best I've ever coached.
She's long too, yeah. Yeah.
Now, the other thing is, obviously you don't ever want to get split. But we do teach them this. These 2 are great volleyball players. But that's the kind of, those are the kind of frustrating things that you get right there is you get it on the way back. Now, this is obviously this is a dead ball.
Yep. And you're in a 1-2-1-1.
We're in our 1-2-1-1. We call it 40 because we put it on the ball. We want it, and with her all the way over here, she's going to play right here.
She's playing the short side again, so the girl's she's almost on the sideline.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe they make you throw the ball in there,
but I know.
And now we teach them not to do this because what did we just had them in exactly in our 40. This would be a great place to trap. Now we get to knock it out of bounds. We got to play again.
Yeah, it's like one of the perfect places. Yeah.
And then here is if we end up doing it on the side. Even though a lot of teams will take their front right person and put them here and then put their front person here. We just put her on the ball and try to figure something out. We hadn't worked. This is first game after Christmas, I believe. But now we're just 2-2-1 right here.
So you changed in the same possession from a 1-2-1-1 to a 2-2-1.
It kind of morphs, but here's why we had to quit doing it because see, this really was our half court person in the 2-2-1.
Right.
And she rotated all the way up here. I mean, they should be able to get a layup here.
Yeah.
So. Now.
You want to trap there, man.
And when we run the scramble, see this girl's already coming this way, which I don't know why she is.
Right.
We run a drill, and I'll show it to you. We call it cut drill. She should be running at her back shoulder, and she should be trying to turn her right here. Right. And that's where you can definitely trap, but we get away with it. We do a lot of bad stuff with our shoulders here. We had her dead to rights right there. Now, here we are trying to make it come in on the short side, and I think it does.
Okay.
And you'll see our you'll see our rotation here. No, it goes long side, but we go ahead and trap. Now, we
Now, what
don't
are you
really
teaching
seal
on
it up.
that trap? Are you telling her to get in front and turn her back? What are you telling the girl that she's dribbling toward? Yeah.
Well, she's supposed to cut her. She's supposed to cut her off right here. Now,
Okay.
I think we're supposed to be in our, and I can't remember if we had changed this or not to where we'd go ahead and trap the long side. This is a senior that's pretty smart. This is a freshman that's head's just spinning. But
Right.
we'd like to, since she's chasing it, we'd like to get this trapped. And then what we teach is this person takes a couple of steps this way and then comes back.
Okay.
And then if it's nut cutting time, you just have to figure it out. Try to read the eyes. But
Okay.
a girl dribbling with her left hand over there is a great place to try.
Right. Because she's gonna. Okay. So what happened? So you got her to stop. She picked it up.
Yep, she picked it up. Now we're going to rotate. This girl should come here.
So what are you taking away at this point? What are you trying to take away?
Sideline and middle. We've got a half court, and my filmer didn't do a very good job. Our number one player is at half court. I'm sure there's somebody sideline middle, so we got two people. We got two people playing three. If that makes any sense.
Yep.
When the ball, we teach too. When the ball comes up to touch the second hand, jump in the air and cross your arms. We've got way too much space here. They get it back. Now, she should have given her a little bit more time to come up and turn her, and make this tough. But right here, we got another chance to trap on the sideline. Yeah, we don't do it. She backs way off. Part of was she's wearing her hair too long, but
I love the crossing arms too. I mean that's a good thing for the young
that's an
coaches.
old run and jump technique. Just leap up in the air. Now this is a pretty good play right here. We are down. This team right here was 0-9. We had a big game coming up on Thursday, and I think our kids were looking past. We were down 5 in regulation and down 5 in overtime. I can't remember if this is the one that won the game for us. But see right here, if we don't get beat up the sideline, we're going to end up getting a 10 count.
Right.
But sometimes good things can happen when you run a press like this. Now we're in I think we were going back to our amoeba. So we were trying to trap here on the backside. Right. And so we're still just chasing.
And what are your rules on your amoeba?
Oh, the guard takes the first pass here. If that's the forward out there and there's a person in the corner, it's the guy from if you want to learn about the amoeba, you got to get the guy from Alaska Anchorage's video.
Okay. I've watched that, I think.
Ryan McCarthy. It's almost his exact rules, and we'll try, we just kind of are in a configuration trying to chase. But see right here, we're going to get called for a foul. We had an opportunity. These two should trap here, regardless of if you're an amoeba or not. And just what you talked about, you got to read 12 should take this away. These two should trap. We should be in a pretty good position, and we're really not. We foul. And the other thing I say on press is fouling negates hustle.
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Now I can't. I think this may be the game winner here. I don't think it is. Hold on. This is actually not too bad. Now.
So her hands are down. 23's hands are way down.
Yeah, she's a volleyball player. Her hands are down. She should be over here teeing her up. They should be right here.
Legs crossed.
Yeah, and then number 3 should be open right here reading. We've got our half court person up here taking this away. We're in great shape. Now, see how she attacked this way?
Yeah.
If she'll come here, we're going to get a great turn and jump in the middle of the court.
Right. It's about angles. So in the drills, you work on angles a lot in your drills?
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
I'll show you the
Yeah.
drills that make a difference, and they do for your man as well.
Yeah.
But one of these two, if we can somehow force this here, one of these two comes and traps, we'd be in, now what happens? This is pretty good though, because we do get a 10 call. So that was a 10 call right there.
And so most of what you're showing is the 1-2-2, 1-2-2.
Yeah, because here's the deal. We're behind, so
Okay.
we're playing hot pressure. There's gonna be I got about 4-2-2-1 clips coming up right now.
Okay.
Um
Because the
now
rotations are so different. Yeah.
we tell our kids, if you throw the ball to a kid right there, that's not good. But now you can see our half court stuff. This girl should be about half and half. She's taking this play.
That's like your money zone right there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now, problem is, I can't remember if they call timeout. They get it across our deal. Now, this is what's good about pressing in my mind right there. Yeah. That's why you press.
And we teach our guys, once this happens, stop ball, and then the people coming down the court, they're gonna try to pass it to the person that's not them, because the one on the bottom's gonna. There's so many opportunities for steals on this.
We talk about in transition, and when I show you our rotation drill, we talk about guarding ball. Like in that UCLA drill, we have to guard ball, basket, and then the third place to guard is backside.
Yeah.
And there's your steal right there.
So that
wasn't anything I did, but
yeah, that's what they're looking.
Yeah. So here's where we win the game, I think. No, maybe not. Okay, they called timeout. All right. I think we win the game right here. And I always tell young coaches, never complain about a referee's call, because they all even out. We kick a ball here because we're getting wide in a trap. Refs don't call it. I think this is the play that wins the game for us. Yeah. Now, with that said, that's why I'm having shoulder surgery right here. I throw my right arm out for the last time right here, because we made that with about 6 seconds, and our kids are cheering on the way back, and that only put us up 1.
And you're screaming.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so we end up winning the game. I mean, that team was 0-9. I went and talked to all their kids in the locker room after the game and told them how proud I was of them. Now, this right here is this is our 20, which we call it is our 2-2-1. It's guards up. So our 2 guards are up. I don't know where our other guard is. She probably doesn't either. Oh, there she is. Okay. And like I said, I've got a pretty good filmer that we recruited. But what we want to do in the 2-2-1 is get up and put pressure on the ball. And sometimes kids won't press. I mean, there's no reason really for us to be in a press if we're going to stand right here. I mean, that's
right.
That's not even a closely guarded.
I'd say the 2-2-1 is good for a couple reasons, in the sense that the strength is it can really slow teams down, and I'm not sure it's as aggressive. It's probably the least aggressive of the 3, but I teach our guys to be on the ball hard. Like I'd have her up a step.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And I say it's like a dance, guys. If these 2 are here, the other 2 need to move all the way almost to the middle of the court. It's this it's like this swing back and forth on a 2-2-1.
Well, and what can happen? What can happen too is if she'll get up here. And in our zigzag drill, we always start our zigzag drill on the inside of the court.
Right.
And we force it outside, and then we never want it to come back across the middle. If you're running a scramble defense, full court scramble, full court man, you cannot let the ball keep crossing the court because your rotations are terrible. She should be right here, force her to go 2 dribbles, turn her, and then 12 can come back to the passing lane or even trap her from behind. But right here, our half court kids are just reading, but we're still really this team is not very good. We don't want the ball in the middle, but this is where.
Oh my God. Literally, I think I've seen someone stop there 10 times. That is like the best place to stop anyone ever.
There's magnets in the court there. There's magnets in the court, but this is a great trap. Now, this kid, needs to get in. I don't know I can't remember what happens after this, but, she needed to rotate up in there.
That's like, so what I'm describing to the listeners is literally, I think the girl picked it up like 2 inches from half court on the sideline. It was like the perfect spot. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is what's kind of upsetting is because this team's not very good. So we got away with some things that we shouldn't have got away with.
They're not dribbling a lot though.
No.
I'm telling you, for teams that's the key is, when teams start putting the ball on the floor, presses are more effective.
Okay. And then here's another rule. And we talk about this in football. And I don't know how much, I got a lot of stuff from coaching football. If you're following somebody right here, rotate somewhere else.
Right.
You see this person's back, then you rotate, we could have got that. But it's just, it's all about reads. That girl's the one that steals the ball, that gets the layup at the end. So it's not like.
Right. She's not in the right spot. Yeah.
Okay. Now here's 20 guards again, 20 guards up. This is a little bit better, but that pass is way too easy. We got 2 people facing the ball. And then this is where, when I show a couple of our drills that we do, she should be running at this shoulder right here. If the ball's on the side in any press, we continue to trap. And even in man-to-man, we give them the option of, hey, if you see somebody, you can do that. But we end up running, I call this running under it. And this is the biggest problem right here in my mind of why you get out of your presses. Now watch right here. First of all, the reach gets you beat. So her head's not above the midpoint of her 2 feet, which is not terrible. But if she just moves her feet here, instead, she gets beat off this top shoulder. Now we're out of our press.
Right.
You're not going to, now you've got to go and you've got to try to get back to your man-to-man. Now, and I believe, I can't remember, I'm pretty sure we're in man here. Sometimes we go back to our amoeba, but we're in man here. And now we're just, and that's the other thing that I put is when we talk about, I got some stuff at the end that I think is pretty good. And we should hit 33 there. I think I'm showing you, maybe we're live pressing here. Yeah, that's why we're doing it.
Okay.
We're live pressing here. I think I'm yelling at him because I think this is late in the game.
And are you in man at this point?
I think right there we were saying get up in full court man. Now I think it might be 20. I think it's 20 with the forward up though, because that gives us a good volleyball player right there. Or it might be 40, and she just wasn't thinking. But now this is a live ball. So, we are in 40 forwards up. 10 had a little bit of a brain aneurysm. Because on live balls, we like to put our guards at half court because that's where they are in transition. If that makes any sense. And here she is staring at the ball instead of being open and finding this middle person right here, but we're kind of we're in a frenzy right now because we're behind.
Right.
So we're right here. We're trying to trap. Now, this is one reason why you should press right here. This team should have won the game. This is why I think I went ahead and this girl took a bad shot. You kind of get them out of their offense. Now here's a missed basket. You're getting them
playing at a pace they don't want to play at.
Exactly. Yeah. Now here's a missed basket press. I think we were down 2 here, and we of course get by. We like to get offensive wise. In my mind, on offense, if you can get a good player the ball right there with her dribble intact, you've got a chance to get shots or possibly an offensive rebound. Just didn't happen for us here. We go ahead And now we go ahead and stay in our press because we're behind. So here's kind of a live ball, and I'm signaling amoeba right here, but we're kind of chasing now. So we went ahead and trapped. We were trying to trap out of our amoeba some. And this girl's one of the best players ever played for me. And she was able to steal the ball quite a bit. But
do you teach not stealing on ball? Do you teach stealing on pass?
Here's the deal. We spend the 9th and the 10th grade year telling them quit stealing the ball on ball, because in 15 of your 20 games, the teams aren't going to let you do it.
Right.
At the freshman level, yeah, they probably got a player that can't play.
Right.
But right here, if we'd have just trapped, but this is one of the problems with trapping is we left the shooter open, and that wasn't very good. Right. And then here's our last clip. This was out of a timeout. So this was a really, really good player. So I think we were going amoeba and 1. So we basically were going to press out of our amoeba, and she was going to stick with her and see what we could get. And I think we ended up getting them to take a bad shot here. This isn't the last play of the game by any means, but we did get them to take a last shot here, and we're just trying to. She just jacked that shot. So anyway, but that's my. Let me go back to the
slide.
To the slide, but that's here's. So I think you have. I feel like I showed some things in there that are fix-it drills.
Okay.
So to speak, and one of the things that we do to teach, when I did freshman boys, we would, how you do that 4-on-4 touch the line drill.
Yep.
What we would do is we'd put the ball in the left corner and put everybody else across the free throw line and see if they can figure out how to get the help side. We do basic zigzag. We do it a little bit different. But our best drills are drills 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
So I'll show those.
Yeah, show those. That'd be great.
Now our zigzag drill, the only thing we do different than a lot of teams will start zigzag here.
Yeah.
We start zigzag here, and we're always forcing the ball to the outside, and then trying to get them to turn. When we first do it, and I don't care if we're playing man, if it's first day of practice, man zone, whatever, we used to do what we called towel drill. You had to have a towel. That's what we did when I was in high school.
Yep.
We done it with our hands behind our back. Jim Boone says to hold tennis balls. I don't teach over there, so a lot of times finding your props, about the only thing we really use are X's.
Yeah. No, I like the tennis ball thing. I hadn't heard of that. I also we do zigzag where we'll work on our communication skills too. Like I'll tell the offense beat the defense, and then the defense can stop the offense by yelling help. So the rule is you have to stop as soon as if you get beat and you yell help, the offense has to stop, and then you get to recover. So it teaches them, and it can be whatever you want for coaches. Sure. So it's a little bit of a twist, but I'm trying to teach them that you're going to get beat sometimes. Well, what are we going to do when you get beat? Well, we need help. Someone's going to have to come over and stop the ball and rotate. So that's what we do. It's helped our communication, if nothing else. But I love those that are listening, I never start zigzagging on the corner. I always start in the middle of the court because it gives the offense more space, which makes it harder for the defense.
See, and we do it, and then we'll have another group going down here. And what we'll do is we usually do 2 full rotations.
Yeah.
On zigzag, and the first one we just go, and if we do 3 rotations, we'll go 50% just to get their stance and work their footwork. The second we'll pick it up, and then the third one is the offense can beat them, and then we always talk about running and get your get your nose on the ball, ahead of the ball, sprint and get ahead, turn them. So it's nothing that anybody hadn't done. Now the next two drills are, I think, even if you're a man-to-man team, this is how we play.
Okay.
We do what we call, and the blacks are defense. I've been using this as defense instead.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's called
Offense
one 1v1. It's called 1v1 cut. So just
one versus one cut,
yep.
and this is a drill. We'll do zigzag and cut almost every day. The rest of the drills we don't always do,
right?
Because we don't trap, we don't run our man trap that much. But regardless of it, even if you don't trap, this is a great defense because we are a no middle team. So the offense is ahead. Their rule is, and we always start on this side. We got a group going here, and we do start in the corner here.
Yep.
We start on the left side. This is great. Obviously the left hand.
So the offense is about halfway between the block and the free throw line, and the defense is a
step or two ahead, depending. Yeah. And we have them partner up with people of the same speed, because if there's one that's a lot faster than them, some kids can't catch. But anyway, this person is dribbling all the way down to the corner, and this person is trying to cut this person. Now, and I've used, and I wonder if I can reduce my screen. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I used this. Is there a way to get that off there? I'll try not. Okay. The second screen, they made it all the way down to the corner. Now, so your live one-on-one defense, and the defense cannot allow it middle. So if you look at that dribble right there, the defense has to get back up on the high side and cannot let them go middle. They have to turn them back. And you're playing true one-on-one after that.
Right.
So, but let's say that the defense cuts them prior to the corner.
Okay.
The offense cannot turn in until the defense cuts them. Now, once the defense cuts them, it's live one-on-one. And then you have to teach, this person has to get back up on the top shoulder to force them back this way.
Okay.
Now, and to me, it's a trust thing. Kids have to learn to trust what you're doing.
Right.
And we tell them, hey, we know you have no help. The first couple of times, here's what will happen. This kid won't get high enough. They'll get straight line drive middle. Our young kids do all the time. Now, take a guess at what happens next. So the next time they cut them here, now it's straight line drive there. So, we try to get out, use our bodies, and really try to control that dribbler and keep it on the side. And then we tell them, you're going to have some help later. Right. And then, let's see, what did I said? You can't get straight line driven. And like I said, we're a no middle team. So if we cut them right there, that's our one-on-one drill. And we always try to play till the, to the end.
So you do this and zigzag just about every day.
Yeah. This is really this is a great conditioner, because we'll probably do one or two full rotations. So that's a 94-foot sprint, and you're in a stance, and then that's a 94-foot dribble, and you're playing, and then you do it again. We do it pretty early in practice.
Okay.
So, and then we do 2 versus 1 cut and trap. So now all we've done is we've added the 2 here, or you can put them there. A lot of times full court man-to-man teams will put this person here like they're guarding the inbounder. But the key is this person has to have an act. It's the same rules for the offense. The offense can't do anything until they get cut. Obviously, you'd like to cut them here and trap them. The first couple of trips, the first day we do it, we kind of let them trap so they know. And then we do it more live. And, here's the problem sometimes. One gets ahead and cuts, and 2 doesn't seal it up, and you get there. But this problem right here is the biggest problem that you'll have.
Yeah.
And I showed that on the film is
we
cut here, and then 2 overruns it because they don't break their feet down. So you have to
So
break
the
your
offense, and that's what can't happen is you can't have the offense beat 2 people because then you're toast at that point.
Well, exactly, and especially, yeah, you're just wasting people here. So that's another one of our buildups. That's 2 versus 1 cut and trap, and then we play 2 versus 2 rugby. And sometimes we'll, even if we're not a pressing team, we'll do this and we'll start them in different places. But you have to pass. It's called in rugby. You have to advance by the run,
Right.
and all passes are backwards. So this is really 2-on-2 advance by dribble, and you're still doing your cut drill.
So you call it rugby? Why?
Because you have to advance it by running or by dribble. You can only advance the ball by dribble.
By dribble, okay.
All passes are backwards. I think I've heard it called that. I think Brian McCormick calls it that. We call it rugby.
Yeah. So okay. So the rule is, yeah, that makes sense why you call it. But then, so offense can only move the ball forward by dribbling.
Yes. And then we have a rule that turns it into true basketball.
Okay.
When I
And
show
then
you,
and then if I can't dribble and I pick it up, then I have to pass it, obviously.
you have to pass it, and you have to pass it behind. Now,
Okay.
the kid, and so the other offensive player has to know they rotate. But
Right.
anyway, you're trying to get it. And the key is, and I don't know if we'll put this in the show notes so they can see the video, right? And everything.
Yes. Yeah. We'll put these in.
This person, X1 right here, has to have an act, because regardless, when you're doing cut drill or cut and trap, if one just sprints here and 2 can see him, you're never going to get a trap. So they have to kind of turn their head, act like they're looking at 1 here,
Right.
wait till they see 2's numbers, and then you're coming try to trap from behind. If they reverse the ball or whatever, we're going to stay in it and try to get our traps. Now, and what can happen is if 1 gets beat, sometimes 2's going to have to read and come and get him in front. And then what we do in all of our drills, and the kids struggle with this, but to me, you have to do this. We call it being able to seamlessly get out of the press and then play your man. So the goal of the offense is to get the ball inside the 3-point line, kick it back out, and then it's live 2-on-2.
Okay.
And you're going to play to finish. And then, the next group, once it gets in there and it gets there, then the next group will kind of start and you'll get out of the way. So there's 2-on-2 rugby. We'll do 3-on-3 rugby as well.
Okay. So very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very similar. A lot of teams will do this. And this is a great drill for our offense as well. We'll face guard right here, play a center fielder.
And this works, and you're doing these to work on all 3 presses.
Yeah, just to work on press. To me, it's great for our ball handling,
Right.
All that kind of stuff. Now, the biggest problem that we'll run into is 3 will get impatient and just run over here. We don't want them to ever see the trap.
Right.
So they've got to kind of move up here and come in from behind. But then this is where the drill gets really good. And and I already talked to our guy at Wichita Collegiate. I think I sent you his email, Mitch Fiegel at Wichita Collegiate.
Mm-hmm.
They run 5 in, 5 out every minute 30, and they run full court. They run full court man, run and jump, switch. And so this is a drill that works this really well, because a lot of teams will throw it back to the inbounder, and then you got to get 3 up here on them.
So he hockey shifts. He'd be interesting to talk to. Yeah,
it's unbelievable. But here's we're still making them pass it backwards, but this person has got to get up and force this person to dribble. So if you're running a full court scramble defense, you got to be in here and be ready to help on the dribble. But also, we can't just let people make open passes. So all we've done is added a player, and then it's still the same rules. Now you're 3-on-3 down here once it goes inside the 3 and on a kick out. So, and then I think if you want to truly press, you have to run this drill. this is a drill, and a lot of people run it anyway. But 3-on-4 rotation.
And this is in the half court. This is in the half court.
This is half court.
Okay.
Yeah. So these guys are facing the coach, and they can be anywhere they want. They're facing the coach. Coach throws it out. Somebody's got ball. Somebody's got, basket backside. And then our rules are this. You never guard consecutive passes. So right here, if one takes 2, one cannot take 4. Right here, if 2 takes 1 and the ball goes over there, one cannot go take 2. And then they've just got to be sprinting and jumping the ball. And what we do, this is a 3-point shooting drill for us. When we first started doing it, if they made 2, you had to stay behind a 3-point line. If they got 2 threes before you got 3 stops or something like that, the other team had to do push-ups or whatever. But this is a frenzy drill, and the rule is, whose rotation is it? It's the person that got there the fastest. Now, we'll chew out kids that aren't running to the ball and stuff, but I think you got to run this drill a lot.
I love that drill. Yeah, we'll even do that in the full court a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it's a great drill. And then now when we go 4-on-4 live, there are no rules. There are no rugby rules. So we'll do the same thing and press. Now, we'll add the 4th person, but the rule I use is the offense and the defense. What did I put? 04 and D4 stay in the front court until the ball crosses midcourt. So it's not just a free-for-all for a layup, when you got everybody up there. So, and we'll try to.
Oh, so they have to stay. Okay, yeah, they have to stay.
Yeah, so you kind of got a protector, and then the other thing is a lot of times make or miss, we'll go back the other way.
Yeah, they cheat the drills is what happens.
Oh, no doubt.
You as coaches always have to think of 2 steps.
Well, when I first started teaching press, I said, okay, let's go 3-on-3 and trap the first pass.
Right.
Well, and then they, of course, threw the ball straight up the court the minute they got it, and it was like, this is
not going to work.
This is not going to work. So, and then, and here's 4-on-5 rotation drill too, just so you get the extra person in there. And, I don't even know why I put that one in there, but, and then I put, questions to ponder. If you want to put it in the show notes.
Yep, I will.
When are you going to press? We press on dead balls and made free throws, and then, live balls late in the game if we have to. We're not going to play full court. We're not going to press all the time. I think you also have to decide if you're going to press on made field goals, where you're going to align your personnel. Because when we pressed on made field goals, our rule was whoever was back had to wait for the protector to cross their face before they could get up into action, and then let's see. And then here's the other thing. You have to decide when you're going to get out of the press. Obviously the other team's torching you. There is a time where your kids won't press. I had that senior group I had, we got second in state. In the first quarter, they go, Coach, our press isn't working. I said, have you really tried to press? They were running that 2-2-1,
right,
and afraid to get up on them, and they're just throwing the ball over the top. And I said, I don't disagree. I said, but have you really tried to press? And they looked at me and they went back out there and did a pretty good job.
So the issue, so we track. I have a rule that if you score on me 3 times in a row in anything, we're out of it.
Okay.
So I have an assistant doing that, because I tell young coaches, sometimes your intuition, like I bet 2 or 3 times this year, I'll turn and say, hey, we need to get out of that. And one of my assistants he goes, Coach, we've stopped them 7 straight times. Like, the feel of the game, maybe we did a couple bad things in the offense. Sometimes you're feeling over.
Yeah. Is it because it's not being run the way you want to run?
Right. Yes.
And you're getting pissed.
Yes. And it's like, well, no, stick with it. It's still working. It's like, okay. So I think if you can have some math behind getting in and out of things, it helps too. The torching is like
our kids, and here's the other thing, our kids want to press,
right.
but and I don't know what your bonus rules are with the 18-minute half, but when we get our 6th team foul, we're out of it.
Yeah, the bonus hasn't changed. We don't get any extra timeouts. It definitely changed the game a lot.
The other thing that we'll do is a lot of times to start the third quarter, we won't press. And that's hurt us because sometimes late in the game, we won't have enough team fouls.
Right.
You got to watch that too. But the other thing that we'll do is we'll get out of our press to start the second half because I know they've been in there writing up adjustments to it.
Right.
And,
have you ever thought of going half court and doing something in the half court?
Well, when we were a scramble team, we would run in the first half, we would run what we called thumbs up and thumbs down.
Right.
It'd be thumbs down was you trapped the first entry pass.
Yep.
Thumbs up was you were going to jump them at half court. And the theory being, did you read all Jim Larinaga's stuff?
I haven't read it all, no.
Okay. His deal was you can help your kids defensively with them in front of you in the first half. He liked to go more full court scramble in the second half because he could help them there.
Right.
So you can help them on their rotations. It's hard to help them on their rotations when you're running full court defense in the first half. So.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because the defense is all the way at the other end of the court.
Yeah.
I
love that. That's a golden nugget there. I never thought about that part because they're right in front of you.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. When I was in high school, and I don't know, how old are you?
I'm old. I'm 53.
I'm 51. I graduated in 87, and I don't know what the rules were like. Most gyms had one clock.
We had 2 clocks. We jumped the ball though for the old people.
We did too.
3-point line.
We jumped the ball till I was a junior.
Yeah.
But the other thing is you got to pick, the visiting team got to pick what end they warmed up on. So so our deal was our coach wanted us facing the clock in the fourth quarter. So that was always a big deal. And even at home, you try to not let the other team pick where they warmed up.
Well, that's interesting.
And I'm not I'll be honest with you, I would rather have the defense in front of me like the NBA in the fourth quarter, because then you can coach your defense and then you can talk to your point guard on the way up coming back. I think high school basketball is harder to coach in the fourth quarter than the NBA.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, not and granted, you're for those reasons, not necessarily
right.
Because we know, but anyway. And then I think more questions is I think you have to decide, are you going to, do you want to deny the inbounds pass? If you're playing the 1-2-1-1, really, really good kids can go steal it at times, but more often than not, it gets you out of your press and you're just scrambling all over the place. The other reason you might want to deny the inbounds pass is to get the tempo up so you can, you're going to get beat over the top. Maybe you want it to be a scramble game. And then I think the biggest thing is what you're going to do with your protector. Are you letting them come out? Because if you're letting them come out, I listened to, on one of those NABCs, it was the guy from Louisville, and he runs the 1-2-2 press.
Right.
Well, and so does Jay Wright.
Yep.
Well, to me, you have to have, there could be 3 people that are in charge of the basket
right
in a possession, and that's tough.
Yeah.
Now you're going to get more steals that way. And then I think you have to have trapping rules. Tom Davis, you were up in that area.
Yeah.
He was one trap and out. Our rules are once the ball hits the middle, over the top of us, we're done. But number 2, we will allow our kids to trap all the way up the sideline if it never crosses over. And then we should be chasing them when they're dribbling up with their left hand. So, and then can you live with giving up a layup? And then
that's hard for me. That's hard for
this
me.
I've got a math teacher that was a head coach. She's one of the best coaches I've ever been around. And she's the one that came up with this word seamlessly. There's that part where you move from your press into your defense.
Right.
That's where open threes happen. Layups not as much.
In the boys game, I can tell you that's the reason a lot of people in our league don't do it, because it's that millisecond that it's open and they'll shoot it. The guys will shoot it in a second.
Yeah, right. And and those are great ways to get. I mean, sometimes those are great ways to get shots.
Get good threes.
And that's what I said. Open looks now. And then the other thing about pressing is, we run an adjustable man-to-man, but do you struggle sometimes? Some kids think that pressing means that you play hard in the full court press.
And then you stop.
You can press in your man-to-man in the half court.
Right.
Get out and deny and make it tough. So
yeah, what I've almost had to do is give it a call, even though it doesn't really change anything, like cheetah or something, just so in their minds they're thinking, we're doing, let's say the full court is red, and then all of a sudden we're in cheetah. Well, our normal half is, so it's playing mind games with them that we're in cheetah, come on, get up the line kind of thing or something.
Well, and you do, and I think you have to have, and then, the thing about here's one thing that happened to us one time is we had a time where I think what happened is, we went up one time, and our kid didn't know we had gone up one. So really, you want to get out of the press at that time and get back and play man-to-man solid. And hell, she went up and tried to rake her or tried to trap or something and foul, and we ended up losing on the free throws. And then I would say I learned something on the from Bill Self this year. He did a deal you might tell your listeners about. Self Perspective. It's on the KU website.
It's on the website.
It's called Self Perspective. It's on the
Kansas.
Yeah,
Okay.
University of Kansas website.
Okay.
He breaks down, like, I think there's 8 episodes. So the first game he breaks down is when I say we, I'm a KU guy.
Okay.
We beat Duke at Omaha in overtime to go to the Final Four. And one of the reasons we did is our kid got an open three because somebody gambled in the last 10 seconds.
Right.
And went for a steal. You have to play solid in the last 10 seconds.
Okay.
He has a rule that he talks about.
Okay, I'll watch that. Self-perspective.
But and then another thing that I watched yesterday on the treadmill that I thought was unbelievable, and you've probably already seen it. Of course, I watched The Last Dance, but on ESPN Plus, they have a deal, and the name escapes me, but episode 8 yesterday it started with Hannah Storm, and Phil Jackson broke down the triangle offense in the Utah game.
Okay.
Of 98. They've got the whole thing broken down, and Steve Kerr comes on and talks, and then it's so hard to take him seriously. But Dennis Rodman talked about the triangle. It was unbelievable, and I can't remember what it's called.
People underestimate Dennis Rodman.
Yeah,
they really do.
He put on an act to
it was marketing 101. I tell people it was marketing. I mean, seriously, he's smart. Like, everyone know. Otherwise, you don't know who Dennis Rodman is if he doesn't.
I just don't understand how it's comfortable to wear that earring right there.
I don't even.
On his lip. But
he was like the best rebounder maybe to ever play the game.
Oh, no doubt.
And it's like, and the reason people knew him, otherwise, Scottie Pippen, like, people like. Obviously, people know Scottie more now because of this, but it's like, and he was a top 10 player in the league at the time. But people were talking about Rodman; they weren't talking about Pippen.
Right.
All right. Any parting words for? I'll put all this stuff in the show notes and your contact stuff. And
yeah, I just think I'm a big believer in you have to have solutions for your kids.
Yeah.
And pressing's not for everybody, but you better be able to break a press. What I would say too is the first thing you need to do is be able to have a press offense and break a press. Because when I first started coaching, our middle school wanted us to put in a press for them.
Right.
Well, they had 15 practices.
Right.
I said, all right, get in your press break. They hadn't put a press break in.
Right.
So
right.
I just think you have to be able, and I would say the other thing is you can run, you can press without doing it multiple ways, but I do think you have to give different looks.
You have to give lots of different looks.
Yeah.
I think so. So yes, so I'll put all your stuff in the show notes. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And I'm doing, I think I've got an out of bounds presentation.
Let's plan on that. Let's plan.
Hey Coach, sitting here, I hope you enjoyed that video. Nothing better than sitting in an empty gym. Let me know how I can help you become a better basketball coach. Go over and check out, subscribe and like. You'll get notifications on all of these. And let me know if I can help you put one of these on your wall or with your youth program or wherever you are. So go over, check it out, teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better.